The effects of video games have been talked about over the years, but in that time the games have changed too, which would in turn have different effects. This video will primarily focus on the benefits from cognitive, motivational, and social aspects of gameplay. This is important to look into because 91% of children between the ages of 2 to 17 play video games. Before proceeding further, there are two important terms to define and two theories to go over. The first is the term gamer. This refers to a person who regularly spends an hour or more playing video games. The second term is video games. They are interactive media you must work through and problem solve instead of passively experiencing. Having these common definitions to refer back to will help further understanding and conversation. The first theory I'd like to introduce is known as the entity theory of intelligence. This theory states that intelligence is an innate trait that cannot be changed. With entity theory, people may feel worthless when failing or defeated because the outcome would not change. A person either can or cannot successfully complete a task. On the other hand, incremental theory of intelligence states that intelligence is malleable and can be changed through time and effort. People who think this way tend to stay positive and push forward through challenges, believing if they put in more effort, they will eventually succeed. Meanwhile, video games are good for incremental theory because they show that with time and effort, challenges can be defeated. This translates to the real world, where it may help people believe in persistence and positive outlooks when challenged and stay more motivated. With that being said, let's dive into some video games. There are many diverse games and ways to play them, which means that there's something out there for any audience. Escapism, or relief from struggles in the real world, is experienced by many gamers where they become immersed by a game's narrative or continually completing challenges in a game that result in a confidence boost, higher self-esteem, and less anxiety. One of the top reasons people choose to play video games is to better their mood through entertainment. Unfortunately, games can elicit negative emotions such as sadness, anxiety, or frustration due to the nature of some of the games. Nowadays, games require players to adapt as they master one aspect only to unlearn it in order to develop new strategies in order to succeed. While players are rewarded in the end, the process of overcoming challenges may be frustrating for some individuals. Those challenges, while difficult, provide players a way to learn skills that will help them manage real-world issues. Different games provide different cognitive benefits. The first genre of video games addressed will be the popular shooter games. These games mainly provide cognitive improvements of spatial awareness and attentiveness. A study was done on non-gamers where one group played shooter games while the other group did not. The group assigned to playing shooter games showed more accurate attention allocation, higher spatial resolution and visual processing, and enhanced mental rotation capabilities, according to the Benefits of Playing Video Games written by Granick et al. Furthermore, fMRI scans have been done comparing gamers to non-gamers, and found that those who played shooter video games had better abilities to effectively sort out information as relevant or irrelevant. While beneficial, these games tend to be more high-intensity and fast-paced, which may result in feelings of anxiousness and stress for some individuals. The next category that we'll be focused on is puzzle or strategy games. These games have been found to enhance problem-solving skills as they encourage gamers to learn to adapt in order to be successful. This is seen in games such as Pokemon, where one must learn the strengths and weaknesses of their opponents in order to better build their own team. Studies have found a link in games such as puzzle games, minimal interface games such as Superhot, the game you are currently seeing on the screen, and games with easy accessibility like mobile games, or even an individual's preferred game can enhance mood, promote relaxation, and ward off anxiety. Within the various categories, there are two ways to play a game: single player or multiplayer. Some games are created to only be played as one or the other, but others, such as Stardew Valley, have the option to play by yourself or with friends. With that being said, 70% of gamers play multiplayer games, which can be cooperative, also known as co-op, competitive, or a combination of the two. It's been found that gamers who play multiplayer games are more likely to practice helpful behaviors because the games themselves practice pro-social skills, building communities, leadership, and trust. Individuals who play co-op games tend to be more welcoming to out-group members than those who choose to play competitive games. But, contrary to popular belief, players of violent cooperative games are more likely to exhibit helpful behaviors on and offline. While those are all various positive aspects of gaming, it's important to note that addiction, depression, and aggression are all very real problems within the gaming culture. It's difficult to make a statement about whether games are good or bad, since it's such a narrow statement for such a broad spectrum, but they have a lot of potential to help in the development of children and adolescent minds because the experience keeps them engaged and gets them to continue playing out of the enjoyment from the interaction. It could be worthwhile to look into therapeutic games since they have the ability to help players better cope with and experience a wide variety of emotions while keeping it all within an isolated experience. Video games are also much cheaper than counseling, and they can reach a larger audience, allowing patients to begin their healing processes from home. This by no means implies that video games should entirely replace counseling, but rather work together in order to keep individuals motivated and aid in their journey. Having game developers, psychologists, and clinicians work together on such projects has the potential to help out a lot of people. With all that being said, previous studies that have focused on the negative impacts are still important, but by sharing all these findings, I hope to encourage more research to be done on gaming as a whole. As mentioned before, categorizing games as good or bad is quite broad. Instead, research should focus on factors such as style and genre, interactivity, and social aspects. A final important thing to note is that many of the studies done have been on short-term effects of gaming, not long-term, which leaves plenty of room to further expand on previous findings. Thanks for watching.
Times have changed.
You know that woman of yours got the look of a woman ain't had a real lot in her life.